Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Maria Unleashed. Glad to have you here. Today we are talking about purpose. So I don't know about you, but I read it everywhere, I hear it everywhere, and yes, it is a very important topic. It's a fun topic, but it seems to confuse a lot of people as well. So, and before we get into that, just a heads up. So we have crazy weather here in Spain, and you can probably hear the wind. I hope not, but if you do, we have crazy weather and a construction site next door as well. So I really hope you don't hear any of it, but if you do, that's it. So just a heads up. Now, purpose. It's actually a very actually it's we don't I don't know. It's interesting because for me personally, it's just something I don't know, very unique to me, right? We all have it. Like everyone here on this planet has its unique purpose. And it's for me it's always so interesting to hear other people talk about it because it seems to be that people assume it's something that can be found on the next street corner. Find your purpose. That's usually what I find your and I'm like, well, that's not really anything to be found. And most definitely not found outside somewhere. Like purpose, you already have inside of you, right? It's like you are born with a little, like you have, everyone is so unique. Everyone has its unique skill set. And you just do your magic, right? So that is actually it. I don't know. But if you do listen to yourself, to this inner voice whispering, hey, go for that or do that, or I don't know, if you just listen to that, that is your purpose. Like you are living a purposeful life already. But it seems that many people, I don't know, hope to find it outside, or they are hoping or hopeful to sign up to a masterclass and now I'm going to find my purpose. And yeah, that's very interesting. So that is why I wanted to record this session today, where I'm just I wanted to, I don't know, actually just like, what is purpose? Let's all just really like, what's going on? And again, I believe it's nothing to be found outside. It is something that is already inside of you, and what we must all learn to just listen to it and to trust in this little voice in ourselves. And I believe that's the actual exercise we should all be practicing more. But yeah, like literally trying to find, like, the one example I share often when I talk to people one-on-one, people that come to me and seek help. And that is interesting because I don't really take on clients that don't know what they want to do, because that is again something I don't know, like that is something you need to figure out. Like deep inside, you know what you want to do, right? We all, like, let's face it, we do. Sometimes we are maybe a little bit confused because people look at wrong specifics. Like usually people go for or type in the best job to make money in the next year or in 2025. And yeah, you can go from that approach, but that's not really, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is not really it. Like again, you are looking at the wrong angles. Instead of looking up what job brings me the most money or the most whatever it is you are seeking, I would always start with which job makes me feel full, which job can I do that and I enjoy so much I would do for free, right? Which job like keeps me up at night and it's like, oh my god, like what can I do? And ooh, I want to do this and I have this idea and oh my god, it's 4 a.m. I don't care, I'm gonna get up because I cannot wait to get to it. Now that's the job that you should be doing, right? Instead of going from all sorts of angles, like what's the most successful job, what's the which job is going to be around for the next 20 years. Like, you guys, we don't know that, we don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. So instead of again making it the outside approval kind of thing, or just, I don't know, crossing your fingers. Many people are also like manifesting stuff. Manifestation is also something I talked about in the past, where people, some, not all, but some people actually believe that, oh, I just have to dream it up, I just have to cross my fingers and it's gonna happen. No, it's not. It needs to be followed up by an action, a continuous action if you want to get to your goal, you know. And it's never this one off event where it's just, oh, I once tried, I once did this, and I once, you know, great, good for you, but that's not gonna get you to this end goal, your dream, right? And even along the way, a lot of stuff can change, and you need to be flexible. And that's where but again, that's just something I do. I don't know if it helps you or not, but I, for instance, I my journal is always with me, but I also like once a year I do. I have a little write up just on a plain, you know, piece of paper where I go like, hey, is my goal, like, what is my goal? And just to double check with me, am I still on the right track? Because sometimes with everything that happens, you know, you kind of lose it a little bit and you become blind towards what's going on, and you see it through like a very narrow like eyesight. And yeah, I don't know, at least that's for me sometimes. So I'm like, oh, okay, I have to step back and I have to look at the bigger picture, and I also have to double check myself, like, am I actually still like going towards the right direction? Am I, you know, am I then also, is that still the direction I want to go to? Because often also I realized, hey, actually that's not what I want to pursue in the next few years. Like my online shop, when I started it, I loved it, and I still love it, and I hope that one day I can reopen it. But the reality right now is it was just too much work for one person, and also with all the prices increasing to a ridiculous amount, you know, and having all the risk all the time, and then not knowing, you know, are they gonna order and reorder this product? And I only work with like fresh ingredients, so I cannot just store it forever as well. And all these little things added up, and at some point I was like, yes, I do love my online shop, but it is now kind of sucking out the life out of me, right? And it's like, is that what I should be pursuing in the next year? No. So I decided it is time, you know, or it was time to close that for now and to now focus on other things, you know. And again, I'm not saying this is the way for everyone, but it definitely helps me to just really double check, hey, am I still, you know, pointing towards a good direction? Is that still my end goal? Has my goal shifted? Has it changed? Is it smaller, bigger, whatnot? So always double check that. And then also, once you know, okay, that's the direction I want to go to, I always also check, am I taking steps towards the goal? Because you can do, oh, now it's raining, dude, we have the craziest weather over here. So, but back, sidetracked, sidetracked by the weather. Actually, one more thing, hey, that is, and now you are not here. He is not here. We had flooding in the house recently. That was very, very annoying. And this night I woke up from rain, and I'm literally dreaming of rain flooding the house we are staying at. Yeah, not cool at all. So yeah, scary. It's beautiful over here though. Like, I must say, like, comparing it to Mallorca, and I'm so off track right now, I know, but I'm getting back to purpose in a second. But over here it's really nice to see that it's still, like, nature is exploding after the rain. I mean, we had a lot of rain coming down. It was insane, really. But on the other hand, you know, after, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, we had a little break, and then the sun came out. And then the days after that, everything just explodes, and it's so green and yellow and pink, and all the flowers come out, and it's crazy. It's very crazy, but it's beautiful. Yeah, a little bit annoying if you live in a house that is not really made for the rainy season, I gotta say. But yeah, it's still very beautiful to see that the nature here is still very healthy compared to Mallorca, where it was very, very dry. And now to see, you know, it's still doing its thing over here. It's pretty cool to see. However, so back to purpose. So yeah, basically, same here with the house, by the way. Hey, so you don't like this approach, like just writing down and just checking with yourself. Not I'm good, I'm bad. Oh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not. No. More as a guideline, more as a compass that's showing the way. And you are just literally like, my notes are my map, and I'm just putting the compass on top and like, okay, are we still going towards this goal? Are we actually now sailing, in a complete different direction? And do we want to sail into this direction? Or are we just completely lost right now? And that is where I'm really like, okay, what's going on? Write it all down. And that happens like you can take a day, it doesn't have to be a big thing. I just really like to take at least an hour or two where I'm just like, okay, and right now, that is just something I do for myself. Like, where am I headed? Is that where I want to go? And am I taking the right steps towards this dream? Because if I'm taking steps constantly backwards or sideways or somewhere, it's great that I'm doing work, but if this work does not support the bigger goal, then that's wasted. It's wasted time. So that I find very, very important. And again, that kind of, as I'm saying, yes, I can use all the journal prompts I get from the outside, and sometimes I really love like when I talk to people who have a similar mindset to me, and I love to hearing their story, like their take on life, on their work, everything. And I also like to ask myself these questions, but funny enough, I always have to come up with my own questions. So I can't just go, or like when I scroll Instagram and you have, all these, hey, it's a new season, here's a journal prompt. Yeah, okay, great. But in the end, I feel, and that's me, I really feel I have to come up with my own questions, right? I always use it as a little, oh, that's a good and interesting one. I actually, the other day, I read one. I wrote it down. That was really nice. And I put it down here to my list as well because I found it so helpful and a really good, just again, a very good tool to double check what's going on. All right, let me see. Oh yeah, he's here. Okay, so that is a question I read somewhere and I was like, wow, that is a beautiful question to ask yourself. So here it goes. If someone else had all your daily habits, would you bet on them to succeed? And for me, it was this instant, hell yeah. So I'm always like, oh my God, someday I want to have someone like me. I'm going to hire her. I'm never going to let her go. Because I am so disciplined and just very continuous, but that is like, I was brought up like this. So for me, it's actually hard to not do that, to just give it a rest. That is something I actively need to practice. Which is insane because most people come to me like, oh my God, I want to do this and I'm like, just do it instead of just talking about it and like, being all like whiny about it. Just do the thing, whatever it is, just do it. Don't think about it too often, just do it. If I have my schedule, a day before, I usually go, okay, tomorrow, set an intention. What do I want to achieve tomorrow? Like, where does my focus lie? And it's often work because I love my work. That is, again, that's coming, that is my passion. I couldn't do a job. Yes, sometimes we all do a job where it's like, okay, it is a project that's not, changing the world. It's not amazing. It doesn't keep me up at night because I'm so excited, but it pays the bills, right? But it is always a limited time frame. So it's like, okay, we do that. And now that buys me a few months where I can just do and pursue the projects that I really want to do. Or now where I can just say, okay, I did a few jobs where I'm like, oh my God, I actually never wanted to do these jobs again. But then again, I needed the money to actually now build up my dream, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. That's just what you do. Like, is it great? No, but it's just what it is. Hey, it is just get the money in, use it wisely, multiply it, and invest it into your business, into your health, into whatever it is, that you want to achieve. And that's how I see it. So I'm not, yes, it is annoying, but instead of just wasting all your energy on whining about it, just do it. Really, that is, again. And this journal prompt I just read was like, hey, that's actually beautiful. And that is why I wrote it down, because many people struggle to see their own patterns on themselves. So we usually tend to see, the annoying stuff on other people and point that out. And very often that's actually where we have to start it, right? So that is what we see, but we tend to see it more in other people and not really in us. So And that is where I'm like, that is so beautiful. I want to write that down because I believe it can actually help a lot of my clients too, to just, as a little homework or as a little reminder, just, no pointing fingers, no making you feel bad, because that I believe has a very negative effect. And it actually, the result is usually the opposite of what, I want. Like, I'd rather say, listen, instead of just, you have to judge yourself now, let's put it the other way around. Would you invest your money, or would you bet on someone who is having your daily routine, right? So someone comes to me, let's say I want to open an online shop, but it's not working. And this and this and this because it rained. And then the last week there was a construction site. And then last Wednesday I couldn't sleep. Okay, fair enough. And right? So, and what helps is if you put yourself into the position of the investor. Would you invest into that person who was just like, I try, but then this happened and that, and now I'm actually tired? Would you invest into that person? Or if you have someone who's just sleeping in all day and just, now I'm going to watch a little bit of Netflix, and then I'm going to do fuck all, and then I complain a little bit about the world, and I'm still poor, I'm still not, fulfilling my dream because everyone else has luck, is lucky, is born wealthy, is this, is that, and whatnot. Okay. Well, is that the truth though? Or are you still being broke as poor because your habit sucks, right? And that's what I mean. So it really helps me. Now we have the construction site noise again. I hope you guys don't hear it, but that really helps me to just reflect a little better. And yesterday I felt a little bit proud of myself because I was going through my whole list now, and I'm like, hey, damn, I'm actually on a very good path here, and I'm actually surprised that it hasn't happened yet. So because I have quite a big dream as well, I'm like, damn, it's not here, what is going on? But again, I just continuously do my thing, and I try to become better and better at it. So that's important too. You have to not just continuously do the wrong things. You want to again sit down, analyze it, and try to be not emotionally attached. And that is hard, very difficult, especially if you love what you're doing. And then you realize, at least for me, that was with my online shop, I was like, no, but that was my dream, and I put so much into that. Like, it's full of emotions, and then emotions, they usually completely fog the mind, and you cannot think clear. So when emotions are high, rational thinking is low, and then you do all sorts of decisions, and they're usually not great. And that's where it's really important to just step back a little bit, put the ego aside, put the emotions aside, and just look at it again like you were the investor and not too much or not emotionally involved. That is what really helped me. And it took some time. Like, this whole process for me took like 2 years, where I was really like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna close it. Actually, no, I don't want to, right? It's like, and then it's just this dragging on. At some point I was like, okay, no, goodbye for now, I love you very much. And I put everything into it, and you guys, I learned so much through this, where I can now help other people, from my experience and knowledge I gained, the real insight, like not from studying a book or in some secured room, but to really be out there on the battlefield and experiencing what it actually means to run like a worldwide online shop. So and that is where I'm like, okay, cool. So it's not lost, because that was for me always like, oh, I failed. No, I did not. I didn't fail. I evolved. And I'm only one person. I can only do so much. And again, I've done the work. I have all the contacts. I have everything. It's trademark. It's everything, right? So whenever it happens, I can pick it up again. And I know the next time I'm going to go in even bigger. And I'm going to get help. That was a lesson I learned. Like, you cannot do it by yourself, because it is limited, right? You can only do so much. You only have 24 hours a day. And there are a few other things you also have to do. It's not just your job, right? And that always was like, okay, no, if I want to produce more, and I really, at some point, I could not produce more, and I was sold out every second week, and I literally couldn't produce more because I only have two hands and 24 hours a day. And that's also when I realized, okay, no, I like the next time I'm definitely gonna get help, and I will not do everything myself. Like I'm not doing the shipping and the distribution and stuff. Like I'm gonna hire someone to do that. That's definitely what I've learned. I'm very grateful for the experience. It was amazing to do it all. That is really a beauty about being small, like a small business, because you really get to see every part of the business. And I realized very quickly what I'm good at, what I'm not so good at. So I really worked hard to become better at it. So that was good. But I also realized actually my time for some stuff, as much as I love it, and that was packing orders, just to amazing, creating recipes or formulas where I'm like just trying, yeah, just that process is creativity is for me so much fun, and I loved it. But because I was always under so much time pressure to just, I have to do this, I have to do that, not time for error, and I have to do the emails as well, and then I have to, it became too much, and there wasn't a lot of joy in formulating new creations as well, where I'm like, I don't want to do it in this mindset of, I have to. No, that's not good. That's not where I want my products to come from. I want it to be this perfect, amazing, made with love project, not product. And yeah, I want, the best. Like, I don't know, I always compared it to, das Oma essen? When your grandparents cook, and it's just so much better than anything, and then you make it and you make it exactly the same, and it just doesn't taste as good, right? It's just this, I don't know, little bit of extra love and time ingredient probably, or I don't know what it is, but like every time my grandmas cook and I make it exactly like them, and it's something is missing, right? And so for me, I always wanted to create these, like grandma is cooking product, where it's like, oh my god, like even though I make it myself and even though I'm really good, but your products are just like out there, like, above and beyond. So that was a standard. And to hold this standard, it takes a lot of time and quality control and discipline. And again, if you have to deal with everything else as well, it gets very difficult and very frustrating, because for me, at least, when I can't show up 100%, at least like 100% is minimum for me. It's a little bit crazy too, but I was upset. Like, it really frustrated me, and I was very disappointed of myself, because I know that I can do better. But with the time and all the financial means I had, I can only do so much, and I did it all. So I was like, okay, that's a bit depressing now. So yeah, the next time I do it, I'm definitely gonna do a few things differently. And yeah, and I don't need to be sad about, I wanted to do this as well. I wanted to know what it's like to really go through the entire process, because I've done it and it was fun. And now I know why you have people for, each department, right? So I was like, yeah, I mean, you can't shoot a film by yourself. That was my previous profession. And that's where I've also learned that, like, no, it's a teamwork. And there's a good reason for it as well. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, even more interesting now for me was really to, because I've always, that's how I roll. That's what I do. I always do it my way, which usually pisses off a lot of people. At least that's what I've always kind of, I was always confronted with that in Germany, where it's very much you have the little box and you need to fit inside of this box if you want to make it. And I was just never, even if I folded myself super small, it's just like, no, what are we doing here? I am not made for this box. And I've realized very soon that, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. Like, I am who I am, and I like who I am, and well, that's me. Like it or don't, I don't really care, right? I have to like myself, and I'm pretty happy with the person I became, or I am becoming still. So it's like, hey, I work on myself, and I do what I love, and all I can do is to really, make it into a flourishing business. Sadly, though, it's not done within a day or a year That's annoying for me. Like that's the real annoying part. Everything else I can live with, but that it takes so long. That's like, oh. But anyway, I was confronted with that so early on, and I realized, okay, that is what people want. So I'm pretty used to that people, like when I go back to where I grew up, people think I'm crazy. Like, what I do, it's like, what? Huh? I don't really care because, I've seen the world, I've traveled, like everything I did, it's so amazing. You can fill 3 lifetimes with what I did already, right? So I'm super happy. But yeah, for most people, they do what other people not want them to do, but they are definitely looking very much to the outside world and outside approval. So for them, it's very important to fit in. Yeah, that's probably it. And I never had the need to do that. But I don't know, I have amazing people karma, so maybe that's why. So even though I was always different, I still had and still have the friends from 20 years ago, still my friends these days. And then I'm like, I don't really care because I have these amazing friends already. And yeah, if the next 100 people don't want to be my friend, then that's okay, right? So I never had this like pressure. At least I never felt pressured into doing stuff in order to make people like me. I don't know, this is not for me. But yeah, many people, they do, as I said, they type in like jobs that pay the most or whatever, and they always go from the outside perspective. So they do the job the parents want them to do, or yeah, but then I don't want them to laugh at me when I tell them that I'm going to do this now, or that I open up my own catering company, or that I do like that I want to be yoga teacher or whatever, And I'm like, why do you care about these people? Are they paying your rent? Are they like, what are they funding you? What is it like? You really want to live your life based on what other people, often strange people, think about you? I don't know. That's sad. That's very, very sad. And I believe that is why so many people are so frustrated and so unhappy, because they are constantly doing stuff, that's literally against their being. Because, I don't know. So yeah, again, I get it. Sometimes you have to do jobs that aren't great, but they pay the bills and that's fine. But I always made sure that it's just a temporary situation. And then I went back to, like reaching for the stars and fulfill my dreams. And it's not always working out the way I wanted it to, for sure. But usually looking back, it's always, okay, I'm actually glad it didn't work out this way, the way I imagined it, because I imagined it very small. And then life turns around and suddenly makes it this incredible story where I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was on the menu, right? So it is good, but sometimes it's annoying. In the moment when it's not happening the way I want to, it's like, oh, but yeah, looking back, it usually is like, oh, that's why I had to, okay, I got it, thanks. So yeah, but I get that it is annoying sometimes and confusing, and like very often I'm also like, why? What do you want from me? Right, like asking life, what is it? Can please someone just, put a little note onto my breakfast plate tomorrow with like very clear instructions? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. But yeah, that doesn't exist. But again, I do believe that it exists inside of us. And there are so many tools these days, tools in a way that, like just for instance, I had amazing guests on my podcast, like Hilary McVeigh, who does human design, or Valeria Kechichan, who does Akashic Records. I also hope to have more people like these women who are into breath work and meditation, because these are tools that really help me. Like, it's insane how instant and yeah, the impact is huge, really. And it was hard for me to get there. Like 10 years I tried to like, okay, be still, but I'm just like I'm like naturally like so active and all over the place, and my brain just doesn't switch off. So for me to become still is actually very hard. but it helped me so much to regain focus. As I said, like especially in the last few years, with the COVID situation, my work that changed a lot as well, and everything became a bit overwhelming, where it's like to a point where I felt very lost, like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, what should I do? I don't know anymore. So these tools, again, it's a tool, they really help me to kind of regain some perspective. But that is it, right? It is not a magic pill. It's not like a overnight cure or anything. And it's not that, these women come and say, here you go, and now this is what you have to do. And, you just follow these steps and you will be on top of the world next year. No, it is more like, as I said earlier, the compass situation. It's like a map and the compass. So we are basically, again, if you don't believe in it, that it obviously doesn't do anything for you, but then it does help a lot of people. So I always recommend, if people come to me and ask me, this and this and that, I'm like, hey, you know what, if it's such a deep level of like, damn, I'm just so lost at the moment because I can't look inside of you. I don't know what's going on. Like, but you have to trust in yourself. Maybe it helps you to reach out to one of my contacts and my colleagues, and you just maybe it helps you. That's I always offer, and I say, listen, like, I really trust these women, maybe they help you too. But again, it's just a tool. Like, you cannot expect to just this magic pill, it doesn't exist. But I feel you. I want to have this magic pill at times as well. But there are amazing tools out there. Again, I love writing. I really love to, I don't know, it's just processing differently if I write it down and if I really just answer my own question. Like this one earlier on where I'm like, hey, would I bet on myself if I was a stranger? Hell yeah. And it felt good to just like straight away, dude, yes, it's a no-brainer. So, just to kind of, again, put it into perspective. Am I, still on track? Or am I just floating somewhere? And it's okay. It is okay. Sometimes you are in a storm and you just don't know anymore where you are headed. It's okay. But important is to always come back to yourself and to find your way back, right? So instead of just closing your eyes and pretending nothing happens, even though you know that you are running, that you're far, far off from where you should be going. I find it important to ask yourself these uncomfortable questions, because then you have an actual chance to make it right again, right? But if you just close your eyes and ears and just like, oh, if I don't see it, then it doesn't exist. Oh no, everyone else, and then pointing fingers why you are in the situation you are in. It's him and her and her. No, it is not, man. Is it you? It is you, right? So instead of just always looking outside, come back to yourself, start with yourself. What can you do? What can you do today that changes your life tomorrow? And if it is just a habit of waking up early and just get to work, whatever it is. You want to start your business? Great. Make a little list, a step-by-step list, just a rough outline. What is there to do? And then you start, right? And that is literally how I help my clients as well. So we sit down, what is it that you want to achieve? But I expect you to, at that point when you come to me, you should know what you want. And that's why I'm saying I'm not a good hand holder. And what would you like? I feel like always in the kindergarten when people come or grown people come and I don't know what I should do. Well, I don't know. If you don't know, I don't know. Who knows? Because that's literally like the most personal decision only you can make, right? So it's like, I don't know, why don't you go back? And I usually always say, like, go to Valeria, go to Hillary, figure that out. And when you are done figuring it out and when you know where you are, what your dream is, you call me. And then we put it into action. So I'm very good at that. So, and literally what I do is I sit down and I would do it, I do it with my friends as well. So it's not like, oh, this is my secret way and now I'm doing it. No, like I always recommend things that actually help me in reality. Not that, oh, that's trending, let's just, put that in for good measures. No, I always do it the way it's probably very orthodox at times as well. But again, like the real life and business and life is just crazy sometimes. And sometimes the only way to get through it is to counter with crazy stuff. I don't know, man. But again, like I'm always coming from experience and really just knowing what it was like to be in very uncomfortable situations. And this, oh, just manifest it, just, well, thanks, right? Like, oh, I'm losing my house tomorrow, my job is barely existing, I have $100 to my name, but yeah, I'm just gonna, like make a wish and cross my fingers. Great. Yeah, that's not helping, guys. Sorry, it's not. Yeah, but it makes a great Instagram post for sure. So there's where I'm like, hey, listen, I know what it's like, and I know, it's in that moment people are probably like so ashamed and they don't even want to tell anyone because it's like what other people think of them and stuff like that. So it's like, listen, let that go, let it go, and let's focus on what we can do to get you out of there. But again, I can only just, this is like I can ignite the little fire and the motivation inside of you, but in the end, what clients do at home, I don't know. Like, and there is where you have to step in, like take back control of your own life and say, hey, listen, I really want to change it. It now counts. How much do you want it to change, right? It is all again like, if people give up so fast, I always wonder, that must have been like some weak ass dream of yours, because I am not willing to give up on my dreams, because that is like real awesome stuff. Right? And it's so worth giving it my all. So if you are already quitting after the second day, then my sweetheart, that was no real dream of yours, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, really make sure. And a dream, like if it's a good size dream, it is a little scary. It is a little scary. It has to, because again, you are not growing from a place of comfort, right? And this like moving towards the discomfort, a little bit of pain, and sometimes a lot of pain, is always in connection with growing. At least that is what I can report. Not from, again, reading some fancy books, but in like reality. That is like the real hard decisions and the real tough times were the times that made me grow and go beyond, So, yeah, but most people don't want to be uncomfortable. And that is the real problem. That is it. So it's not everyone's fault and the life's fault and everyone is just lucky and you are not. No. But you have to also, like, that is what I realize as well. Life is not fair. It's not. Sadly, I would love it if it was, but it's not. And I remember that my, like years ago, my ex-boyfriend said to me, Maria, life isn't fair. Fair is for the kindergarten. And I hated him for saying that. I'm like, how can you even say that? I was like outraged. I'm like, like, no, because I didn't like the reality of that. In my little Disney world was like, no, it has to be fair. I wanted to believe the lie, you guys. And that is where I know that sometimes you just want to believe the lie. But in the end, it's really better to face it, even though it is for that moment where it's like honestly, like, and then again years later, and now it's already 15 years ago, and I'm like always like whenever stuff happens, I have to think of him telling me that, and how I was like, no, life is fair, it must be fair, but it is not fair. So, and knowing that is actually a little bit easier, because now I don't expect it to be fair, even though sometimes I really wonder like what is going on. Again, it's a little Disney world coming through, but so yeah, that's it. And I guess that's what most people also struggle to deal with, like the reality of things, as in, shit, life is not fair. So I was brought up believing that if you work hard and if you always give it your all and if you're always nice and friendly and just play by the rules, you're going to be successful and you don't have to worry about a thing. It's a beautiful little thing to tell. Like, really, I love it. If that was true, I would have been a millionaire by 23. I kid you not. But reality is, it's just not like it. It's really not. And it's very sad. And I wish, if I could make a wish, that would be it. Like, I would love it. I would love if the world would actually, work like that. But sadly not. Yes, it helps. It definitely helps. Like, you have to put in the work and everything, for sure. Be nice to people, because let's face it, especially these days, like, we're all so fed up already. Like, I have no capacity for bullshit left. So yeah, I prefer, like, I'm very happy to help out someone who asks nicely, right? If I have to choose between two people, and they're both equally good, I go for the nicer person because I want to have a good time. Like, we spend so much time at work, I might as well, create a beautiful workspace. So I'm just saying it all helps for sure. But it is not a guarantee for success and for a worry-free life, or for any sort of, like, like back in the day, like, again, my parents, they maybe grew up like this, where it's like, okay, it's pretty, like, stable, everything is very settled, very stable, very much like constant, right? It is not fluctuating in any way. But that is the old ways, I don't know, they are not really existent anymore. So I guess that's also, like, now with this, hearing this growing up, and now being faced with our reality, that was very hard for me to kind of adjust and to understand and to accept, because in the beginning I didn't want to accept it. Like, no, I like the way they, I liked it. Like, yeah, I just give it my all, I give it my best, and they lived happily ever after. Yeah, I want that. So yeah, but there is a little bit missing. I don't know what it is yet. Like, what is it? Like, it is indeed this little bit of luck. Like, I don't believe in luck, because luck is, you can create your own luck. I am the creator of my, dream, and I can create lucky circumstances for me. I can make sure I am prepared. Look, wherever I go, so I'm very good with people, and usually I will always, back in Cape Town, I was literally making jobs at the bar, where I was just out there, just like, I just had to be there, talk to people, tell them what I do, and they were like, hey, we need someone like you in here, and then the next one and the next, and I had jobs left, right, and center. I had to turn down so many people, but that is usually, how it goes. I go there, I talk to people, and it's like, oh my god, here, we need someone like this, or I know of someone who did it. So yeah, it definitely helps, but again, this, I don't know, it's weird. I don't know what it is. So yes, I couldn't have planned this situation of, hey, I met this person that actually changed my life, and he introduced me to him, and then, but I guess what I can do, I can be prepared. So when this lucky moment occurs, I can just be ready for it. And that's what I always believe in. Like, hey, I'm just gonna be as good as I can. I practice, I become better. So when the time is right and when this moment happens, I am actually ready to also deliver, right? Because I want to be ready to hold all this success and hold all everything I wish for. So I guess there is this level of being prepared and really give it your all and being consistent. Very important, for sure. But there is something else happening, and I just don't know yet what it is, but this little extra where it's like, why is this person so crazy successful, and the other person who's doing exactly what he's doing and is so, like, exactly right, but how come this person is so much more successful than this person? What's happening there? Like, why is that, right? So yeah, I always find it very interesting to observe that and to figure that out. I don't have a solid answer yet. I will keep you posted on that one. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I don't know. It is a little extra. It's this little bit of, I don't know, what is it? Is it luck? I don't know. But for sure it helps. But yeah, however, just to wrap it up, guys. So purpose. You are very unique. No one is like you. You have your very unique skill set. And probably when you are, like, at your best, people are sprinting across the room, open their wallets to say, please work with me, please make this product for me, right? It's just that so many people try to copy everyone else, and they are just like, who wants a copy of someone? No one. I don't know. I don't. So that also always gave me so much confidence, where I'm like, I don't need to push now. I don't need to be too aggressive or too, like, where everyone was like, no. Like, I like to let my actions speak louder than my words. So that is very important to me. I actually want to deliver. And yeah, also, again, if you are the best for the job, then you, and I know this, like, yeah, but just know that people need your service, your product. You as a person, whatever you bring to the table, is so unique that only you have this composition, right? So no one else can copy you. They can try, but they're always going to be like a cheap copy of you. So and that always gave me the confidence to say, like, you know what, and if this job is not meant for me, and maybe it wasn't, but I still know that there are people out there who need exactly what I can offer. And for some reason, that was always enough to keep me going. But I really believed it. Like, still, I believe in that. Like, I was just 16 years old or so when I realized that, where I was like, I don't actually need to try to be someone else, because people come to me for who I am. They appreciate what I do, and they appreciate my work ethic, and that I'm just a friendly person. Like, I'm like, hey, always with a smile on your face. And that's what they told me, like, already back in the day. Like, oh, you know what? It's always so nice to have you. You're our little sunshine. I'm like, oh, how nice. Like, and that is easy for me, right? And yeah, it was amazing to just by being myself, making other people happy as well, by not even doing anything but smiling and just coming in like, morning, guys, what's up? Awesome, right? So that gave me a lot of confidence. And I also observed a lot of people, a lot of my colleagues. I was just like, of course, I was just starting out, and that was after school. Like, that was just a job I took to actually finance what was I financing back in the day? My driver's license and my first car. And then once I succeeded with that, I saved up to go to London and to learn English. That's what I did. So yeah, I always had my motivation and yeah, again, like my dream, and it was always so worth pursuing. And it was not always easy, but good lessons for sure. So yeah, again, try to just find it inside of you, like listen to yourself. And however you do that, like some people go for a walk, some people have to be alone for some time, some people go camping, some people have to party, some people, I don't know, some people read in the stars, some others do human design, some others do deep breathing, some others, whatever it is that helps you achieve some clarity, do it. And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or believes, or even for me, like if you hate writing, or if this is just something you hate, there is no point in telling you to do it, because it's not just for you, right? But there is some way for you out there. You just have to find your way. Like, and then do your way, do whatever it is that helps you achieve a little bit of clearance, a little bit of stillness, a little bit, however you get to the point where you can make a decision based on what you really want. Not what your mom wants, not your grandma, not your boyfriend, not what society wants you to do. What do you want? And then you have to really just grow a backbone and just, stand up for yourself and achieve your dream, whatever it is, man. It's so worth it, and you are so worth it. Like, we have this short life. It's just short enough as it is. And I have so much I want to achieve, and it's probably a little bit too much, but still, like, I'm giving it my all because I am enjoying it so much. Like, I really love the ride. Oh, another good one. That is another good one, and that I would say is like rule number one in finding, your true purpose. And it's also, again, this word, and it's such a shame that it's such a thing we make out of it. It should be the most normal, like breathing, right? It's just, yeah, but unfortunately we were all put into this box, and now we have to come out, and we were like, oh my God, I don't know what? Yeah. Fall in love with the game. So first of all, my number one question for myself and others is always, find a job that you would do for free. Like, this is what you should be doing, right? Let me ask it the other way around. If you had any time and money, if time and money isn't a problem because you already have it, you have all the time and money in the world, would you still be doing what you are doing? Whether in life or business, doesn't matter. And just answer that for yourself. If you had all the money and time in the world, would you still be doing what you are doing? And the answer should be yes. If the answer is no, you need to find something else to do. And here comes a second one I find very important. Like an advice that is just for me somewhat the key to waking up in the morning, to, you know, show up with this discipline over years and decades, right? Because again, like, it isn't easy doing what you love and making a business out of it, and just, you know, especially what society has built, and they put us all in these little boxes and shelves, and it's like, you know, you have to, and this and this and that. So breaking free from that is hard enough as it is, but you really must be in love with the game. And that is really the second big one, or not the first big one as well. Like, both of it is very important. If you love what you do, you don't have to set an alarm in the morning. You don't have to, you know, have little to-do lists and stuff. You do it anyway. And I'm talking about the stuff you probably do as a hobby, where people are like, oh my gosh, I could never do that, right? Some people, they are insane gardeners, where I was always like, dude, not even if you pay me, I wouldn't want to do it. No. And they love it, right? And they create these beautiful gardens where it's like paradise. I'm like, oh my God, wow. And that is just their hobby. And then they say, or, you know, because I encounter that often, I'm like, oh my God, how can you still do that with the work and this? Oh no. And they're like, this is what keeps me sane. Like, when I come from work, I'm ready to just, you know, like, open the bottle. So, you know, that's not very good to do on a regular basis. So I'd rather go into the garden and do what I love. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this is actually what you should be doing. And then maybe have like a little part-time job just to secure the rent in the beginning. You know, it should be the other way around in this case. So you should actually be working, you know, what you do, and do that for other people. And then maybe have, if even, because, you know, if you are so good at it and if you love what you do, there's so much demand for it, and you probably don't even need a second job. But I'm just saying, in this case, it should be the other way around, and you should be doing this as a main job. Same goes. I know people who are just, I mean, the way they cook and bake, oh my God, it's so good. And they, again, do it, you know, for hobby. That's what they do. They're like, literally like, I want to cook here and this event and that event. And then they are always, you know, and that is, again, the hobby. So they are working full time. And same as with the last example, she comes home then and says like, oh no, but I know it is hard and I am tired, but this actually now gives me energy and just really excites me. And I'm like, yeah, and this should be your job. So you should actually be having a catering company. So, but she's like, yes, and I thought about it and I would love it, but yeah, no, that's not paying the bills. And then they repeat these stupid as phrases and sayings that make no sense. You know, that's what your grandma said, and that's not what your mother said, and now that's what you said, and it's probably what your daughter's gonna say. Yes, because you are repeating it, right? And we always just copy our parents or our environment, because that is how we learn. And if you continue to talk yourself into it, and then maybe probably your kids into it as well, oh, that's terrible. That's so terrible. So I'm just saying, you probably already know what your purpose is. Like, it can be that, I don't know, maybe some people expect it to be some crazy stuff, like, right? But in the end, it is to find something you love, and yeah, maybe create a business around it, and to also help out others. How amazing is that? Hey, if you can actually, not just for yourself, like, but again, that is what I really find a lot of joy in as well, is that when people come to me and report back with the amazing results, and they're so happy, and that makes me so happy and so proud to be part of this, to you know, that I had a little bit, you know, that I had played my small part into helping this other person to achieve their goals and their dreams, and to creating this amazing brand or whatever it is, right? I'm like, damn, I helped do this, right? So that makes me very proud. So yeah, and that is actually, like, this is for me inside, that is just completely like, oh my God, I feel so whole and I feel so full right now, like, so good. And then of course I would totally just live with that, but we live in a world where we also need to earn money. And you should, if if that's the standard you provide, and if you are helping so many other people, you should not be worrying about money. Like, the money should reflect, the work you do. So it is important. And that was also important for me to learn that money isn't bad. Like, if I ask for a lot of money, there is a good reason for it. I'm not being, like, mean or whatever. The area where I grew up in was always like money was a bad thing. Like, oh, you are, and they always had a word for them, for people who like to make money. So it was always a bad thing. And I had to also, kind of make it clear that no, there is nothing bad about it. And it should reflect in, like, it's an exchange, right? And they are very happy to pay me, and I don't need to feel bad, for asking for money in return. Of course not. And that's very important. And I feel that many people I know and I meet and I work with, they had similar issues where it's like, oh, I would do it for free. Like, oh, now I feel bad that I take money for it. Like, no, just because you would do it for free, that's great. That means you are on the right track. That is a job you should be doing. But still, you have to take money for it. Like, it is this exchange, and it needs to be rewarded in that sense as well. Because again, you want to make a living, and you have to make a living. You have to be safe, because I, as a client, I want the person I hire to do a job, I want them to be 100% focused, 200% focused. And I don't want them to worry about, oh, I can't pay next month rent. That, this distraction I don't want. I want these people to be 100% focused on me and my problems, and help me solve my problems. And I'm very happy to pay for it, right? And this is it. So, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. And I had this conversation with Valeria Ketchichan. Yeah, there was an English episode as well. So if you want to listen into that, because she also brings this up, like this topic of money and how we are brainwashed into believing it is bad, but money isn't bad. Like, yeah, it's very interesting. I believe it was, I can't remember the number, 39 or 40 episode number. So have a look. I will link below as well if you're into that. And if, you are resonating, like, oh yeah, I know, yeah, we do too. So yeah, I will link it below. I have to write that down, because otherwise I forget. And other than that, I yeah, it is really just like, listen to you. Yes, get inspiration from the outside world, for sure, definitely. Again, there are great tools available. Find the tool that works for you. And then you don't even have to tell it, you don't have to justify it. It's just, you do you. Create your lifestyle. Like, really, you are unique, and it deserves a very unique lifestyle as well. And out of the box thinking, for sure. And in 99%, you already know what your purpose is. It's just that the outside world, we're so brainwashed into not believing in ourselves, and believing, or like doubting, our opinion. Or it's like, oh, I wanted to have this and this and that. Or I have one more, where it's like this woman, and I'm like, hey, what do you want? Like, no, yeah, no, but like, no, not what did you, and what you shouldn't, and then what that person said to that. Like, what is your dream? And then, it's like, it took like at least 10 minutes to get it out of her, because she was like, I mean, I would really like to do, I would like to do this and this and that, and I want to be, and that example was interior designer. You go for it. Like, that's easy. That is nothing you have to, like, everyone knows what it is. You can type that in. Everyone, like, the keywords, everything is set already. Like, go for it. And then while she was like, yeah, I want to do this. But that is actually, no, that is not a real job. Yes, it is. It's a very real job, and I know a lot of people who pay a lot of money to hire someone who can sort them out. And I was like, yeah, but then they come, like, especially in Germany, people come with a lot of, they get so creative with why it is not going to work out. And I'm like, okay, you gave me now 1,000 reasons why it will never work out. Okay, fair enough. And these reasons were like crazy. Like, there was like, wow, that's 1 in a trillion times that, like, percent that this is going to happen. You know that, right? So yeah, okay, but for sure, can happen. Okay, but why don't you give me one good reason that it is going to work out? Because that is all you need. one good reason. It doesn't matter, even if there are solid a million reasons why you shouldn't do it. If there's one good reason why you should do it, dude, that's all you need. That is all you need. And again, yeah. And then it went further on, and I was like, okay, and where do you want to live? Like, really paint a picture. Like, what is the house gonna look like? Like, what type of house do you want? Because she was also like very unhappy with the living situation. And I was like, okay, like, well, what do you want? Ah, I don't need anything. You don't. What, you want to be homeless? No, but, and then this starts, this whole, I don't need anything, and yeah, because, people told her that money is bad and this is bad, and if you want to be good and this A student, you don't want anything, and and I was like, oh, okay, well, I want this and this and this and that, and I want my house to look like this, and I want the ocean and this and this and that. And she's like, oh my God, how can you ask for all this? Because I deserve it. Like, life wants me to have a good time here, right? So hell yeah, I'm gonna have a house by the ocean. So while I was going on like dreaming, she then yeah, actually I want a house, I want a brick house, and it doesn't have to be big, and I know, but you know what, actually I don't need a house. Well, you just said you want a brick house. So you want a brick house or you don't want a brick house, right? And it's immediately, she doubted herself. She was like, immediately, like, the 1 second she let go, and then the next second it's like, no, I shouldn't be asking for this. Oh God, I'm so annoyed. I'm so bored, and I'm so tired of this, honestly. And that's why I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore. This is boring. And it's so sad also. It really made me a little bit upset, where I'm like, oh my God, you know what? I just dream, like, just dream a little, but you don't even allow yourself that. So yeah, again, the dream is your roadmap. And if you are somewhere in a foreign country, and it's metaphorically speaking, yes, I know you have a telephone, I know you have Google Maps, I know that. But just imagine it as a roadmap, as in like, okay, so this roadmap is a guide, it's a guideline. It helps you to kind of find your way, right? And this is it. But without a roadmap, if you don't even have the slightest idea, if you are literally like left in the dark, I mean, that makes it even harder. And that's what I'm saying. We don't have to purposefully make it harder for ourselves, right? Allow yourself to dream. Dream big. Yes, it needs to be a little scary. If it's not scaring you, it's not big enough. It needs to be a little bit scary, because this is your next level of evolution. Step up to the next level. You are just like perfecting your skills, gaining a new skill set. That's all part of the story. So that, love what you're doing. And yes, please, you must ask for money. Otherwise, it's just a hobby. So that's also where I meet a lot of people where, they are just, and I made a lot of mistakes as well, pricing my products in the beginning. I'm honest with you, I made, yeah. So I know. And that's where I'm like, listen guys, I've done it. I'm going to save you 4 years of your time right here. And I'm going to tell you this and this happened, and I advise you to X, Y, Z. So I see it often, like they are confusing a hobby with a business. And, when they sold it as hobby-wise, just like, oh, I sold it to my friends, and then I sold it to him and to her, and it's all fine. But you weren't registered for tax, and then suddenly when you're registered for tax, there's more tax coming, and then suddenly, there is a whole lot of financing you didn't even know existed. So, you have to talk about that. Be realistic. Dream big, but also be realistic. Have a little checklist just for yourself, just to double check you are still on track, and also to, again, stay in reality, because you cannot just like completely like floating around. It's a balance of both. Like, again, and find your perfect way. Don't try to copy people or strategies they use. That was a mistake I made. I was using strategies very big companies use, and it does work for them, but it works for them because they have millions of orders every day. I don't have millions of orders every day, which is why these techniques and strategies did not work for me. And that's very important to really remember that, to find your strategy and to do it your way and what you are comfortable with. But also, not just personally and emotionally, but also like on paper for real, because you cannot just give away. And that's what I did. I was trying to compete with like big companies and giving out like discounts and then free shipping and this and this and that and a tester here and a tester there, and you can all do that, but then the price must be like way more, or you hold back a little with the discounts. Like if you are using like the best ingredients, and that cost money, and it's not produced in some Chinese factory where people get it, I don't know, like $1 a day or what, right? So I cannot compare myself and my price strategy to big companies. And that's important. And that goes for every level, not just, that you can apply this rule for everything you do, social media, accounting, everything. It's like, okay, yes, it works for them. Maybe it works for your colleague who also has a small business, but it does not necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. And if it doesn't work, you can try it. Always try it, because how do you know if you don't try? Try it. But then also look closely at the numbers. Track what comes in, track what comes out or what goes out money-wise, and then to really see, okay, and then also pull the line if it doesn't work, because otherwise you're just burning money. And that's what I mean. Like, a dream is one thing, but you also have to really be in the reality, and, it is a business after all. And yes, you are allowed to love it, you should be loving it, but it is a business, and the numbers, they must be right? So because you want to make a good living, and you deserve to have a good living for yourself, or to create a good living for yourself. So yeah, I really hope I don't know, I could give you some insight, some good real life experience as well, because I really like to get practical, give out some practical advice that everyone can actually relate to. So I really hope it helped, or gave you some ideas, inspiration, motivation as always. And I will see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this episode, depending on where you're at, if it's my YouTube group, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for following. If you are not following yet, please hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment. If you're on Spotify, follow along. Leave me 5 stars if you feel like it. I appreciate it a lot, and I will catch up with you in the next episode. Bye. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode and found exactly what you needed from it. If you would like to support my mission, don't forget to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. I appreciate your guys' support massively. For more, head over to my website at greenplanetcosmetics.com, where you will find free content, my online workshops, and of course, my signature expert class. If you are feeling called to dive deeper, I also offer one-on-one sessions and intensive packages. Just reach out to me directly. And last but not least, if you have any further questions, business or lifestyle related, or if you would like to hear more about my story, don't hesitate to ask. I would love to hear from you and weave your questions into my future episodes. Now, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.